So I joined learning and certification team at Cisco in 2003 as a content developer, subject matter expert. That was my first experience with NIL, the very first partner I worked with in the learning team. And I've worked with them pretty much every year since for the last 19 years. So I joined learning and certifications as a subject matter expert for collab and enterprise networking. I don't actually remember the very first project I worked with on NIL because there have been so many. It was probably related to the enterprise space, but I don't remember the specific project. There's been dozens over the years. My relationship with NIL has been excellent in several regards. One, NIL has great engineers. They're very experienced. They're actively working on customer accounts, on networks, and doing content development. So they bring a level of expertise to our content that is critical for our customers. They're also a just great company culturally. They've always been exceptional to work with. They're fantastic hosts. Slovenia is a fantastic country, and I've gotten many great tours here by the NIL team. There's been many projects where NIL has assisted us in design of both the certifications and the training courses that help support those. So we do a very formal process when we're designing a career certification, and we love to bring in experts who are actually doing the job. And NIL brings that great perspective from the work they do with their customers in the professional services and in other areas they work with Cisco. And that helps us bring a real world element to our designs that not many of our learning partners have that full breadth of experience and knowledge. They're great educators. NIL is one of those great educators, but they also have that deep technical experience. And I think that's really made a huge impact on Cisco's programs over the years. So for Cisco, I think it is that real world value that is brought. And the length of the partnership, 30 years now, NIL has had a great experience with us, has helped us evolve over time, brought many suggestions, improvements in how we should do things, both from how we develop content to the type of content that the customers need. So it's been because it's such a long-lived and deep partnership, I think you really can't describe the value of Cisco certifications without including partners like NIL in their contribution. Personally, I've gained many friendships. I have people that I've known for 20 years now at NIL. One of the reasons I'm here in Slovenia this week is to meet with people that I've had this long-standing relationship. So very personal rewards for me as well. Probably the most difficult is the pace of change. Technology's always changed pretty quickly, but 20 years ago, it did not change nearly as quickly as it is today. And making sure that we're delivering the education, the learning that customers and our resale partners and others need to deliver or implement, support Cisco solutions, I'd say that's probably the biggest challenge, trying to figure out how to do things more quickly to stay more current. At the same time, we have to make sure people have the time and the ability to study in order to get certified. So that balance between staying on the very cutting edge of the technology curves, but also making sure people have the time and the ability to develop their skills, I think that's probably the biggest challenge that the learning organization, which of course NIL is a huge partner in, has faced. I think there's two things that have been really impactful. Um, about 12 years ago, we actually held a development summit here in Slovenia that NIL hosted with us. And we completely restructured how we design and build content. And we're continuing to refine that. There's always continual improvements, but that was a huge shift that enabled us to accelerate our time to market and also to support multiple ways of delivering content. Some people want to take an instructor led in person, some are virtual, some need to do digital, right? Self study type training. So, this reimagination of how content could be built, published, and consumed, I think was one of the huge uh, impacts. The other, more recently, we've gone through a revamp of our certification programs, trying to remove some of the barriers and also to enable people to tailor their certification more to the job they're doing. There's some skills we expect everyone to know, but then there's additional skills that are very dependent on the job role you have. And NIL has been very instrumental in helping us design those the blueprints for those exams that we're going to assess people's skills on. So it's not just about the learning, but it's also about the proving of your skills. And both areas, NIL has been very, very helpful, very instrumental in helping us design how those will be the most effective for our customers. From a learning perspective, there have been many, and of course, I've not been engaged in very many of the projects. My role is much different today. So, from my own personal perspective, one of the most impactful was we created an expert level training program, and this is a becoming a CCIE at Cisco is extremely difficult, as it should be, right? Cisco is saying we're certifying this person as an expert. Uh, so the development of that training program was very, very intensive, and several partners were involved. But NIL, specifically Robert Lesser here at NIL, was a instrumental in helping us build out that content, and more importantly, to deliver that content and actually train experts. Hugely successful program that NIL put together through Europe and South Africa on building experts. Very high success rate, extremely difficult exam. So we know it was extremely successful when people passed that lab exam for the CCIE. So that's probably the most impactful from my perspective. Well, I'm hoping it looks very similar to the partnership of the last 30 years. We have lots of vendors, lots of people who do work for us. We have some very good partners. NIL is definitely in that category of partner, which means we work very closely together to deliver great outcomes for our students. One of the reasons that partnership has lasted 30 years is that commitment to excellence that NIL has had, that passion for developing the next generation, for helping people develop their skills, and that real world experience. And I've only seen that get stronger and stronger, especially the pool of talented engineers that NIL has. So I'm expecting that relationship to continue and to grow, and for NIL to continue to help us drive the next stages of learning. Thank you. Thank you so much. It has been a great partnership. I have had great learning myself from many of the engineers that I've had the privilege of working with, and I've had great personal experiences and personal growth. The the entire culture of NIL has had a huge impact on me for the last 20 years, and the again, especially the commitment to excellence, the skill levels that the NIL team culture promotes is been amazing. Thank you. The maybe not so funny, but great experience for me. I had the privilege just a few weeks ago, to be in South Africa for the launch of the NIL 525 program to get 500 CCIEs in sub-Saharan Africa by 2025. And of course, you don't go all the way to South Africa without taking a few days. And Brad Thomas was very gracious and hosted us and showed us around and took us on a safari where I was sitting in the back of the van recording a lion on the side of the road. And all of a sudden, the truck started backing up very, very quickly. And my coworker was getting a little shaky in her voice. Look, look, look. And I turned and looked as another lion was charging the back of the van. So a little scary, but a little humorous too. I had a lot of fun afterwards talking about Brad taking me out and trying to get me killed on an African safari. But it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. So thank you.